So, in today's lecture, we will see the quality of groundwater, physical, chemical, and bacteriological aspects. So, what are the different sources by which groundwater is getting polluted? We will see. So, first, before moving on to that, we will just see what is the quality of groundwater. What does groundwater quality means? The groundwater actually, what is its important? What is the importance of maintaining a quality for groundwater? So, we all know that we are nowadays using groundwater in a large amount because we are exploiting all the resources of groundwater. For example, we are in earlier days there were very few number of tube wells. Nowadays we can see that everywhere everywhere all over the India there are many number of tube wells, and we are extracting more and more groundwater. But you already knows that a drop of groundwater from the surface to ground, the time taken for reaching that water to the ground is many years. Okay, a drop of water needs many years to reach the ground. uh, at the same time we are extracting a lot of water, many drops of water within seconds from tube wells. So actually the groundwater sources are also depleting. But when comparing to surface water, groundwater is the only available source in some areas. There is no groundwater surface water at all due to drought and all. Surface water will get depleted, or I mean get diminished all the time. So the only source of water somewhere over the earth is groundwater only. So we have to keep the quality of that water for taking it for our necessary needs. Okay, so that is the importance of groundwater quality actually. And it's coming to its usage in India. About 85% of the groundwater sources are drawn from for irrigation, domestic and industrial purposes. We are using it for all the purposes. Okay. In if you are considering India, Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, and Rajasthan is using more than 100%. There will be a permissible limit by which we can extract groundwater, but these states are extracting groundwater above that limit. Okay, so it is more than 100% extraction. So and in some states like Gujarat, Karnataka, and our nearby Tamil Nadu, they are using more than 70%. In case of Kerala, it is more than 50%, I think. So this is as per Central Groundwater Board report 2006. And this extraction of groundwater causes an imbalance between the available groundwater and deficit recharge, because we are not recharging water that much, we are not providing groundwater uh, that much. Okay, but we are extracting more. So what will happen? The already available resources will get depleted. So in time, in whenever there is a drought or whenever there is a summer season, we'll not have enough water for our daily use. So this will be the cause. And already available water will be of no quality, not much quality. Okay, so that is a problem. So it will result in a permanent fall in the water table every year to the tune of 2 to 3 meters. So see the difference. Every year it is decreasing 2 to 3 meters. Groundwater table is decreasing 2 to 3 meters. So what if this continues? So that is the problem. Now, so we have to keep the quality of the available water. Otherwise, we cannot even use that water for our daily use. So, what are the uh, sources by which groundwater is getting polluted? Here we can see an overall what is that flow chart of groundwater contamination. There are different sources, mainly two sources. One is natural and the other one is anthropogenic. Anthropogenic means whichever causes which are due to human intervention, they are known as anthropogenic causes. And in natural causes, there are geology of rock, climate, natural disasters, atmospheric deposition, weathering of rocks, all the parameters we have discussed earlier. In case of anthropogenic, there are agricultural activities, runoff from croplands, barnyards, wasteland application, construction site, mining operation, sewage discharge, washing clothes, timber harvesting, etc. In case the anthropogenic causes are again classified into two: in rural areas, village areas, and in city areas. So these are the reasons by which groundwater is contaminated in rural areas. In case in city areas, there will be large number of industries which will discharge more sewages and wastewater into uh, ground. Channelization, municipal discharge, landfills, septic system, land use, etc. are the reasons. So this is a general flowchart which shows the sources of groundwater contamination. So this is a figure which shows again the sources of groundwater contamination. You can just see this is our ground level. This is our ground level, and this is the groundwater body. We can say this as an aquifer. So this is a confined aquifer, it seems. Now, on the top of the soil, this is the top of the soil. We can see the top of the soil. There is a septic tank here. So sewage from the septic tank will move downwards and it will reach the groundwater. Here there is an industry. The industrial products, there is a pipeline here. There is a leakage in the pipeline. That waste will leak down or trickle down through the soil and it will raise the groundwater. Here, there is an agricultural field which uses modern agricultural practices like chemical fertilizers, fertigation, etc. So, what will happen? It will dissolve in water and it will percolate down and it will reach the groundwater here. Here, there is a landfill site. Landfills are nothing but they are just holes or what is that? Rectangular shaped or circular shaped holes which are digged to dispose the waste, and we will close it later. Okay, so what will happen, this waste will get decayed beneath the land, and when rainfall or some water comes, what will happen, this waste will dissolve in that water and it will infiltrate into the soil. So here that will occur, and this is a disposal or injection well. So here there is a seepage pit. So what will happen, the seepage from this will leak down and it will reach the groundwater, and there are many other sources of pollution here, all that will reach finally to the groundwater. Okay, so this is the figure showing the sources of groundwater pollution. Now, what are the different causes by which groundwater is getting polluted? Normal causes. What are the different causes? It is a releasing of sewage into shallow sock pit. It is one reason. Pollutants contained in the seepage pit, refuse pit, septic tanks, and barnyards may percolate through the layers of soil. That is another reason. Transport accidents. For example, ship accident and all causes. Uh, of course, it will cause the leakage of some oil and other things into the water directly, and it will finally reach groundwater also. Industrial products and process waste. Nitrates. This is very important source by which groundwater is getting polluted. Due to the use of fertilizers, nitrogen containing fertilizers, nitrates will leak to the groundwater, and other toxic industrial waste, lead, cadmium, etc. And another important thing is seawater intrusion, which is a natural cause. Okay, and of course, we have discussed about pollutions. Okay, so in case of groundwater, also the same is applicable. Pollutions or quality of water can be assessed in three ways: physical, chemical, and bacteriological or biological. Okay, so we will see each of them. You all know about this. What is physical, what is chemical, what is bacteriological, and what is radiological. You all know. Physical means it is just the things which we can sense. It may be temperature, turbidity, color, taste, odor, etc. In case of chemical, it may be due to inorganic constituents or organic constituents. Some constituents are there which is given as abbreviations. I have explained the abbreviation. Given the explanation of the abbreviation in the top right side. Bacteriological pollution, of course, you know what is bacteriological pollution. It is the presence of bacteria, and it is identified by or analyzed by the presence of a particular bacteria known as E. coli, Escherichia coli. So we can assess the presence of that kind of bacteria in water. We have some analysis procedures for finding E. coli bacteria in water. So with that we can assess the bacteriological pollution. And radiological means actually it is having radioactivity, materials showing radioactivity in water. So these are the different types of pollution which may occur in groundwater. So of course, physical pollution, we will first move on to physical contamination of groundwater. Turbidity is the first thing. It is a measure of how much light can filter through the water sample. It is due to the presence of suspended matter, and its potential health hazards are, they are objectionable due to aesthetic reasons. We cannot actually accept the water because of the unaesthetic senses. Okay, maybe it may have some what is that, gloomy color and all it may have, so we cannot accept it with our mind. Okay, that is the health issue. There is no adverse health issues due to turbidity. In case of color, color may be due to decaying of leaves, plants, organic matter, etc. It may also be due to organic chemicals, high disinfection, I mean, large organic chemicals, inadequate treatment, etc. And it also does not have any health concerns. Much health concerns are not there. And the third one is pH. pH indicates how much the water is acidic or alkaline. pH indicates how much the water is acidic or alkaline. Acidic means it. So actually, the pH value is represented between pH value of water is represented between 0 to 14. The value of 0 to 14, and 0 to 7 represent acidic. 7 is neutral, and more than 7 to 14 represent alkaline. Okay, so 0 is most acidic and 14 is most alkaline. 7 is neutral. So that is the case. High pH causes bitter taste, and it causes encrustation, that is deposition of white color. Okay, encrustation in pipelines, and depresses the effectiveness of disinfection of chlorine. Chlorine will not be effective when the pH is very high, and in case if the pH is very low, it will cause corrosion. pH very low means the water is acidic, so acidity always causes corrosion. So these are the potential effects caused by pH. Odor, you all know, odor is indicative of organic or non-organic contaminants. There is no health effects. Taste, again it is caused due to some salt or some other matter, organic matter or algae. No health issues are there. And now we will move on to the chemical contamination of groundwater. So we have seen the physical contamination now. We have seen many parameters in that. What are the effects caused by that parameters we have seen. Now we will see the chemical contamination. So this is the thing I have explained to you earlier. There are about 24 parameters which causes chemical contamination in groundwater. 24 are there. I have given numbers for each of them. 1, 2, 3 like that. There are 24 parameters. Most of them are metals. Most of them are metals or elements. But among them, there are some important metals or elements which causes higher chemical contamination. So that kind of metals are given in this highlighted form. Okay. So we will just see that kind of metals. All others you just read. Okay. So arsenic is a very important metal which causes very high contamination and very high health effects, very large health effects due to the usage of such water. Okay. Arsenic, how it reaches the groundwater, it may be due to some natural processes, because weathering of rock and all, if that type of rock contains arsenic, then it will reach the water. And industrial activities, pesticides and industrial waste, etc., can cause arsenic contamination in groundwater. And its health effects are, it causes acute and chronic toxicity, liver and kidney damage, decreases blood hemoglobin, and finally the major one is it is a carcinogen. It causes cancer. So this is one of the important so we will see in our syllabus there is arsenic contamination. A lecture is there. We will see in detail. And barium, beryllium are another important sources of chemical pollution in groundwater. So their sources are given and potential health hazards are given. Again, beryllium is also a possible carcinogen. Another sixth and seventh source are cadmium and chloride. So these are not given according to its toxicity. They are given according to its what is that, alphabetical order only. So I have highlighted all the important things. So chlorine is one of the important sources of chemical pollution in groundwater. It most of the times it is due to saltwater intrusion, mineral dissolution, industrial and domestic wastes, etc. The health effects or ill effects caused by chloride are deteriorates plumbing, water heaters and municipal water works. So when chlorine is used, most of the time the pipelines will get incrustated. That means it will have some depositions at its sides and all. Okay, so that is the important ill effect caused by chloride. Above the secondary maximum permissible limit, its taste becomes noticeable. It will not be aesthetically good. Its taste will be not acceptable by human beings. So chromium is another source. Again, copper is one of the important source. How it will reach the groundwater? It will reach the groundwater through metal plating, industrial and domestic waste, mining, and mineral leaching. So these are the sources by which copper reaches groundwater, and it causes stomach and intestinal distress, liver and kidney damage, anemia. It can cause anemia even when it is in higher doses, adverse taste and staining to clothes, plants and algae. It will affect plants and algae at moderate levels. So these are the uh, important ill effects caused by copper. Now the 10th and 11th one is cyanide and dissolved solids. Both of them are important. Cyanide comes to groundwater through electroplating, steel processing, plastics, etc. Improper waste disposal is another reason. And it causes damage to spleen, brain, and liver, which is very important. It causes damage to spleen, brain, and liver. Another one is dissolved solids. It is a measure of dissolved salts. It may be due to dissolved salts, organic compounds, or inorganic compounds. Mainly, it comes through to groundwater through landfills. Landfills. I have explained about landfills. So through landfills, it will reach groundwater. It makes water objectionable. High concentration of dissolved solids shorten the life of hot water heaters. Again, it causes some problems to the electrical equipments. Another important thing is fluoride. So I have already said that arsenic contamination is one of the lectures we have to discuss. Fluoride contamination is another lecture we have to discuss in detail. So fluoride is another important source by which chemical pollution occurs in groundwater. It occurs naturally or as an additive to municipal water supplies, widely used in industry. Fluoride, and it causes, it mainly, this fluoride affects our teeth and bones. Okay, fluoride causes some stains in teeth, and it causes crippling bonds. So bond disorders will be there. So this is the effect of fluoride. Another one is hardness. It is a result of metallic ions dissolved in water. uh, it will be in the form of calcium carbonate. Mainly the hardness is caused by calcium carbonate or bicarbonates. Okay, so there are many sources by which it reaches the groundwater. And the most important effect of this hardness is it will not cause lather and soap. Foam will not be formed when we are using soap or detergents. That is the important thing. And it increases scale formation in hot water heaters. Again, it will affect the electrical equipments. So these are the important things. Iron and lead, another important sources. Again, it occurs from sediment and rocks due to weathering, from mining, industrial waste, etc. It causes brownish color to laundered clothing, causes brown color to cloth, and imparts a bitter, stringent smell, a taste. Lead is another thing. Lead is from industry, and it causes red blood cell chemistry. It affects the red blood cell chemistry and decreases the hemoglobin, causes slight deficits in attention span, hearing problem will be there, and learning in children. Probable carcinogen. Lead is another carcinogen. Manganese is another important metal. It causes aesthetic impacts and imparts brownish stains to laundry again. Okay. It is relatively non-toxic to animals but toxic to plants at higher levels. When manganese is higher, it will cause ill effects to plants. Nitrate is very important because you all know nowadays, among all the things we have discussed, nitrates is the most important chemical which reaches the groundwater. Why? Because of the modernization of agriculture, due to the increased due to the we have introduced many new technologies for increasing the agricultural production. So most important one will be the pesticides and fertilizers that we are using daily. Okay, so all that kind of fertilizers, pesticides, and whatever it is, all that things contains nitrates in it. And this nitrates, when it is given in excess amount, or it is given in the form of fertigation, it will dissolve in the water and it will automatically seeps down the soil and it will reach the groundwater. So nitrate is a very important compound which reaches the groundwater. It is due to mainly due to man-made fertilizers, and its toxicity results from the body's natural breakdown of nitrate to nitrate. Our body has nitrate, and breakdowns of nitrate into nitrate occurs in our body. That will be affected by the increased amount of nitrate in water. Okay, and it causes blue baby disease or methano. So we will see this disease later. So selenium and silver are another two important things. Sodium and sulfate are another. Sodium occurs in water due to the leaching and de-icing and washing products, and health risk factor for those individuals on a low sodium diet. So sodium causes shivering actually. Deficiency of sodium causes shivering. Increase of sodium also causes shivering. Okay. Sulfate is through natural saltwater intrusion or domestic sewages. So it can cause a change in taste, etc. Zinc is another important thing. It causes no ill effects, but it imparts undesirable taste and it will affect plants. So these are some of the chemicals which causes groundwater pollution. Chemical pollution to groundwater. So you just see the important things which I have highlighted. Okay. And the important ill effects it is caused. Okay. Now up to this we have discussed about the inorganic chemical substances which causes chemical pollution. Now we will see the organic chemical substances. So volatile organic compounds, pesticides, etc. are some of the organic, and plasticizers are the organic chemical compounds. The main ill effects caused by these are cancer is one of the important or bad ill effect which is caused by this volatile substances. All the organic compounds may have the same effect. Liver damage, gastrointestinal disorder, skin irritation, weakness, dizziness, headache, poisoning, etc. will be caused. So all these have the same effects. Now we will move on to the final thing, bacteriological contamination of groundwater. I have already explained to you about coliform bacteria or E. coli, Escherichia coli. So why we are choosing this bacteria? Because E. coli's presence can be easily identified by means of water analysis. Okay, there are different analyzing procedures are there for finding the presence of E. coli. So the presence of E. coli itself will show the presence of other bacteria. Okay, so we are choosing E. coli. There are testing procedures available for E. coli, so we are choosing E. coli. And its sources are soils and plants and in the intestines of humans. It reaches groundwater mainly through the septic systems because these are form of bacteria which are there in human excreta. And it is used as an indicator for the presence of pathogenic bacteria, viruses, parasites, etc. And it may cause, the main ill effect is it causes infectious diseases, polio, cholera, typhoid, dysentery, etc. So these are the ill effects. So here you can see, so this is just a flow chart or a table which shows the permissible limits of certain constituents that we have discussed earlier. We have discussed about antimony, aluminum, arsenic, barium, bromide, etc. So how much it could be in water? So when it is between 0.0001 to 0.1 milligram per liter, it is okay. Above which it will cause some ill effects. And silver, thallium, thorium, etc. when it is below 0.001 milligram per liter, it is okay. Above which it causes some ill effects. The secondary constituents like potassium, iron, strontium, carbonate, nitrate, fluoride, boron, etc. should be between 0.01 to 10 milligram per liter. And the major constituents, sodium, calcium, magnesium, bicarbonate, sulfate, chloride, etc. should be between 1 to 1000 milligram per liter. Above which it will cause all the ill effects which we have discussed earlier. And all these things, total sum of all these things is known as total dissolved solids, TDS. Okay. And we have discussed about the pH, total dissolved solids, etc. So some of the constituents are there. It's highest desirable limit and maximum permissible limit. Highest desirable limit means above which it will start causing ill effects. That is known as highest desirable limit. Maximum permissible limit means above which it cannot be acceptable at all. That is maximum permissible limit. So the highest desirable limit and maximum permissible limit is given in this table. All the values are given in milligram per liter except pH. pH is just a number, it has no units. And the main harmful effects caused by this groundwater pollution, harmful health effects. There are many effects caused by groundwater pollution that we have already discussed, but the main harmful effects caused by this groundwater pollution is one is methemoglobin anemia. Okay, so actually what it is, when nitrate ion combines with hemoglobin, it forms methemoglobin. A compound known as methemoglobin is formed. This will decrease or inhibits the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, and that disease is known as methemoglobinemia. Methemoglobinemia. Okay, so it causes an anemic condition. Another important hazard caused by this groundwater pollution is bioaccumulation. Bioaccumulation means when we depend on groundwater or contaminated water, we will at each time we are using the water, some amount of chemicals will be deposited in our body. And when we use it many times, what will happen? All the elements will be accumulated in our body. That process is known as bioaccumulation, and this will cause higher health damages. Okay. Another important thing is biological magnification in human beings. You can see this picture. Human beings are not only directly using that water. We are using all the things which are using the water. So hen, they are also using the water. We are eating them. Meat, we are eating them. Fishes, they are living in that water and they are using that water. We are eating them. In their body there may be some chemicals. When we eat this fish, what will happen? That will be accumulated in our body too. Grains and vegetables, they are also living in using that water, and some amount of chemicals will be there in these vegetables also. We are using these vegetables also. So all that thing is used by man. So what will happen? All that thing will be, all the chemicals in all the uh, other things in food chain will be there in human body. That is known as biological magnification. So man is at the apex of food chain because he receives food from organisms directly involved in photosynthesis as well as from those which are indirectly dependent on plants for their food. So that process, when we use all these things, all the chemicals will get deposited in our body. That is known as biological magnification. So this is about today's lecture. Thank you.